So welcome to the Senorita's Art Workshop. We're so excited to have you painting with us either during the day or at night. Either way, we're going to have a break for lunch and snacks because the painting will take us a little bit of time. But we'll see how we go. So because you're watching this as a video, what you can do, of course, is stop, pause, have a drink, light the candles, have a drink, light the candles, and then do a bit of painting. So it's up to you. But today we're painting this fantastic painting, which is a little bit Frida Kahlo sort of inspired. Because I don't know if you know much about her, but she's a famous Mexican artist, one of my favorites. And this is the painting that we're going to be doing, which is called The Mexican Sacred Heart. So what you can do here, instead of writing amor, is you can write your Valentine's name. So it might be Peter, it might be Glenn.
I'm doing myself today, love. Loving myself.
Well, great. Fantastic.
Single ladies here.
Excellent. Okay, well, I'm going to just explain what we're going to do.
We love Benny, her dog. We haven't got a black glove, so we just, solo kicks here.
Fantastic. All right, so everybody would have been sent these 4 brushes, so you can share these amongst yourselves at home. You've got this fantastic paint kit with the 8 different colours. The colours that we're going to be using straight up, I'll show you on some palette paper, which you also have received. And we'll do the fine detail with these acrylic paint pens that we've also sent you. Okay, so the colours that you need to get out are these ones. So we've popped out some phthalo blue. That was sent to you in a little tub. Some yellow and some white. And then a little bit of orange and a little bit of green at the back there, okay? So that'll help us do the basic background. And what we're going to do first is we're going to draw the heart on the canvas. Alrighty. So the brush that you can use to start this off, I'm just going to use a little round brush. So in the kit, you've got a choice of those 2, right? Alrighty. Oh, and I forgot to say, you've probably already done this, but 2 jars of water, 1 to paint with and 1 to clean your brushes. It would be a good idea to have a cloth so that you can, sometimes I even use it to sort of do smudging, but yeah, it's a good way to clean your brushes. I think that's all you need. Okay, so let's get going. So what I do first is I always put my paintbrush in the water and give the bristles a bit of a splash, and then I dab it off like that. So I'm going to paint this in a dark colour, but I think you could do your outline in the yellow at home, but I'll do it in a dark colour so you can see. So I'm going to use the dark blue. Little brush. Haven't got too much paint on my brush, but enough to do a little bit of drawing. Right, so the first thing I want you to do is identify the centre of your canvas. Up there and down the bottom. And then I want you to do a line down the middle. So you should be using yellow paint to do this. This is just so we can work out where the heart is and get the proportions. Because sometimes, if someone hasn't picked up a paintbrush before and they just say, just draw a heart, it's not as easy as it looks. But once you know where the centre is, then I want you to come down halfway. No. Halfway, I'll show you where halfway is, just so, yeah, we might as well do this. halfway runs through here. So once you've got those 4 quadrants, we can do the heart. So if you come down, there's the center. I'm coming up, if I use my brush, from the tip of the brush to the black neck is where I want you to do the dot. So it's just there. Probably about 4 centimeters from the center here, going that way. And then the next one, I want you to come over like this way, and do a dot here. And then the same. We should do one there. So now we've got 3. So then we've just got to work out the height of the heart. And I think if you were looking about a quarter of the way across, so if you mark a quarter and do a dot, you can see from here, again, if you use the brush, the tip of the brush to the end of the black is about the height that you need. And the same over here, just mirror it. Like that. So then once you've got that in, you can go from the center and do a curve over to there, like that. And then mirror that. So you've got the right proportions. Just going to grab some water, a little bit more paint. Okay, so now I'm going to make my heart slightly off center. So instead of putting the point on the line, I'm going to put my point just a little bit. So again, if you divided this in half, that would be, you can see from the bottom, it's a little bit more than the point of the brush and the black. It's probably about 5 centimeters. So a dot there. So then I want you to drop from here down to that point. Okay. Alrighty. I might pop a song on and let you just catch up to that. Here's one of my favourite songs for lovers by Cher called Dove l'amore. Dove sei, amore mio? Dove l'amore? Dove l'amore? How can I tell you all my love? Here is my story. I'll sing a love song, sing it for you alone. Though you're 1,000 miles away, the feeling's so strong. Come to me, baby, don't keep me waiting. Another night without you here and I'll go crazy. There is no other, there is no other. No other love can take your place. I'll match the beauty of your face. I'll keep on singing till the day I carry you away with my love song. With my love song. Dove l'amore? Dove l'amore? Where are you?
Feel my heart beating. I need to hold you in my arms. I want you near me. Come to me, baby. Don't keep me waiting. Another night without you here and I'll go crazy. There is no other. There is no other. No other love can take your place or match the beauty of your face. I'll keep on singing till the day I carry you away. With my love song. Oh, with my love song. Non c'è nessuno, non c'è nessuno, non c'è nessuno bello come te, ti amo. Come to me, baby, come to me, baby. Another night without you here and I'll
Okay.
go crazy.
Time for
There is no other,
more colour.
there is no other. No other love can take your place.
Thank you, Cher. I do love that song. Alrighty, so now we're going to do some background work, and you can use a medium-sized brush. So you can use a flat brush, one of those, any of those would be great. All right, I'm going to use the flat brush. So pop it into your water, and the colours that we've got out, just to repeat what we're doing, is we've got phthalo blue, which was sent in a little tub for people that ordered the kit, yellow, white, some orange and some green. So the background, when you look at the painting, is sort of divided into sections a little bit. So you can see what we're going to do. We're going to do like a green over here that's got some graded colour so it gets lighter near the heart. So it looks like it's glowing. And over here, we're going to do some lemon, and then we're going to mix up a burnt sienna and do this sort of brown. And then up here, we've got a little bit of green. We've got green over here. So to start with, we're going to use the blue. So the dark blue. Alrighty. Whoops. So the blue goes on this side over here. Then go right up to the edge of your heart. Little bit of water on your brush. So when I add water, I just break the surface tension, just like that. You can sort of test how watery it is on your palette before you start. You really don't want it to be too runny, but we are going to put lots of different colours over the top of it, so you don't have to put it on massively thick, because we do want to add a couple of colours while it's still wet as well. Just have a bit of fun with colour. Before we get to the serious sort of layer, I just think we might have a play to see how colours work. Okay, so we've got the blue. Just doing a little curve shape from the bottom across. That'll be our green. So while that blue is still wet, what we're going to do is we're going to grab a little bit of the yellow little bit of the yellow and add it to the blue, and we're going to get a green. So it's probably a bit more yellow than the blue, really. It's almost like the brush that you're using, just grab some yellow, that's what I've done. Then grab some white, and you'll see you get a paler green. So I want you just to put that over the top of the blue while it is wet. You see, it's quite beautiful. So you're going to get some nice effects. You do need a little bit of water, but remember, just break the surface tension. Don't add too much to start with. You're probably going to need to mix more of this colour up as well. So I will. So you can see it's still wet, so the blue's coming through. More yellow, more white. So I want to keep it in that pale green. Bit more water, bit more white, bit more yellow. If you add too much yellow, you'll see it sort of goes like a real limey colour. But, you know, who cares? The colours that you sort of see, sometimes you just go, you know what? I don't really want to follow exactly what she's doing. I'd like to do my own thing. Do that. So the more yellow that you add, the more limey the green becomes. I'll show you. But remember, this blue underneath is wet, so we're sort of getting the blend of that blue going on, but it is lovely what's happening. You can do brush strokes like this. You can go like this. You want to extend this green up a little bit. We end up painting the top of this black, which we'll do quite soon. Okay, so we've got a bit of a green happening there, tealy green. If you add a bit more white to it, you'll see, while the paint's still wet, that you can really get a nice lighter colour just there. So that's just adding white straight over the top of what we've just done. And then if you think, oh, I don't know, I don't want that stripe effect, just go back and grab a bit more of that colour on your palette, the green, add a bit more white to it. And just put that. I think it's going to be nice if you've got a couple of different colours that happen here. And then if you want to keep that dark, you could just add a little bit of blue. Add a bit more blue. This only works if your paint's wet. If you've got dry paint, you're not going to be able to blend your colours. So if you've got dry paint, let's say you had dry blue, you would have to recreate these mixes. So what we had was some blue, we added some yellow and some white to get this sort of soft green. We've come back and added a bit of dark blue into the corner. Let's clean the brush up here a bit. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. If you want to blend your colours, what you can do, a little bit of water, tiny bit, remember, just break the surface tension. And you can just give this whole area a coat like this. And that sort of blends your colours as well. Okay, I'm going to pop a song on and then we'll come back and we'll do the other colours. Right, let's jump into some other stuff. Just added a little bit more light to this side. While the paint's still wet, and I'll blend it in. You see that this just gets a bit lighter.
She was a silhouette in the moonlight, dancing all around. Such a beautiful sight, that graceful eyes and smile. She was captivated. I fell in love with my sexy lady. Oh, won't you dance with me? Come on, baby. Lady in the moonlight. Girl, won't you dance with me, baby? Lady in the moonlight. She took my hand. It was a magic moment underneath the moon. It was a time for romance. It was the life of me. We were dancing as one. Oh, you and I.
All right, let's do some more mixing of
We were
colours.
having so much fun. Won't you dance with me?
Okay. So that might still be a bit wet. That's fine. We might come back if you haven't done enough lightness around the edge. Later on, you might want to add that. I'll show you how to do it. But what we're going to do now is concentrate on this right-hand side. So using one of your flat brushes, or yeah, any of these ones are good. Okay. We're going to put some yellow down. Right, so some yellow. This brush I've cleaned it, but it's still got a little bit of blue, but that doesn't matter. So if you've got the same, you can see it's sort of a bit greeny. That's okay. So we're going to put this yellow and then while we've got that wet, add a bit, you can add a little bit of water. Your paint water usually should be clean. Here's my clean my paintbrush water, getting a bit dirty, but that's okay. Right, we're just going to get the paint. Basically, the aim of the game is to cover up the white canvas here. So that is supposedly just pure yellow, but as I said, I cleaned my brush, but there was still a bit of blue. That's okay, I quite like this. But if you've just got pure yellow, fantastic. Because now I want you to add white to it on the canvas while it's wet. Pure white over the top. You'll see, you must keep, your paint must be wet underneath though for this to work. Otherwise you can mix the yellow and white together. But I quite like creating the colours pure on the canvas. Sort of fun. Makes you feel like you're being a little bit wild. All right. So that is pure white over the top. Add a bit more white. Take that up a bit. Paint the edge of your canvas too. We should have done that over there. We'll have to go back and do that. Yeah, just paint the edge of your canvas as you go. Then you'll have like a nice wrap of all the colours, okay? So yellow and then white over the top. And then, while that paint is still wet, we're going to mix up a sort of rusty brown colour. All right. So actually, we might even add a little bit of red to it. So when I said earlier, I put out green and orange, I'm now going to add a little tiny bit of red as well. So we want to create that lovely rusty colour that's in that right-hand corner. Don't think you can see it. See how we've got this sort of rusty brown red? We're going to mix that. We're going to put it inside the heart, and we're going to also do it down the bottom here while that's still wet. Okay, I want you to clean your brush. So that was yellow and white. We're just cleaning it. So the best way to clean them is do this and then dab off on the side, and you'll see once it sort of runs and it's just a bit clearer, then you can grab your cloth, give them a wipe, and then you can do a real test by going into your clean water and seeing what happens. You can see it's pretty clean. Great, so now I have got a clean brush. I'm going to mix a burnt sienna. So burnt sienna, you can buy it as a colour. It's this sort of beautiful rusty brown, but mixing colours is fun and you get the same results. You just need to know what quantities. So I'm going to start with orange and a little bit of red, and then I'm going to grab some green. And you'll see once you add the green, so it's probably more orange, 50% more orange than green. And I popped a little bit of red in as well. So now I've got this rusty brown. So I want to add this down the bottom here while the paint's still wet. And this is where we're going to blend both colours. I'm adding a bit more water. And what can happen here, it may very well happen with me as well, is that it's a nice idea sometimes to put this colour right over and then come back with the yellow. See how you feel. So what I'm doing slowly is pulling the colour right across that yellow. So you could stop there and go like this. Clean your brush, grab some white. And I haven't cleaned my brush. I've still got a little bit of that mix on the brush. And it's sort of nice. See how that, so I've gone up the top. And I can come back with some more yellow. But I'm adding a little bit of white into the bottom of this as well. So just have some fun blending your colours. Don't be too worried about the finish yet, because I'll show you how you can smooth all your colours out. So once you've got your rusty brown in this corner, then we've added a bit more white and come up here. Now we're just sort of having a bit of fun, watching what happens with the colours as we pull the brush across the canvas. So if you want to start tidying up, see how I'm doing these little dabs? You can do this. What this does, just do it softly, just touching the canvas. But it doesn't matter if there's a little mark. It's sort of nice, sort of interesting. So if you've got marks, brush marks, that's great. We do end up putting the black fine work over the top, remember? All right, I might add a bit more yellow into that. Lemon, I think it, what's it called? Lemon yellow, yeah? So if you want to create an apricot colour, what you would do is add a little bit of orange to your yellow and then a little bit of white. So if you want to have some fun with the colours, I'll show you. Yellow, little bit of orange, little bit of white. Oh, that's nice. And then you've got like an apricot. So I'll put that there and you can have a look. It's yellow, orange and white. It's more gold. It is actually really quite nice. And then of course you can add more white to it. If you want to lighten it. Might want to bring it down. And then, you know, you might want to come back and put a bit more of the brown in the bottom. You can do this with your brush to blend your colour, this circular motion. It's a good way to do it actually for this painting. And then when you get to a point where you're meeting a lighter colour, grab that lighter colour and just add it in. And bring it back down. Then bring the dark colour back up. So it's a sort of crisscross affair. And then you can say to yourself, okay, where would I like that to be a bit lighter? Well, maybe here. That's time for a song. That's looking good. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give the heart a coat of the brown. That brown that we mixed with a little bit of red, a little bit of orange, well, quite a bit of orange, a little bit of green. So we're getting that rusty brown, because we do need a couple of layers of paint on the heart. Painting isn't about just putting one colour down, it's putting down lots to create depth. And that is what we're going to do today. So red, quite a bit of orange, a little bit of green, burnt sienna, rusty brown. Probably need a little bit of water. I'll show you how to use the edge of your brush to get a nice straight line. So you need a little bit of water. Remember always to test just to see how much water you've got on your palette paper before you jump on your canvas. So if you put your brush on the canvas and flatten the bristles, and then, oh, you can see I've got too much water. See how that's happened? But that might be something that you like. You might think, oh, I like that drip. But if you don't, just grab your cloth and you can dab it off. There you go. It's because I was putting so much pressure on the brush. But that is a good accident to witness. So you don't want a very damp brush. So little pressure on the bristles, and then you just drag a little bit of pressure and see you can get that really good straight line. Something you might need to practice, but and then you can also, as you come up here on the curve, need a bit of paint. So, well, that's going to continue doing that little drip. Might leave it. Up, around, and just pull it down, and it gives you a really good line. They're flat brushes. The little brush will do it as well, but the number 16 is the one I'm using. You start thinking about getting your heart. If your heart's too small and you want to make it bigger, this would be the moment to do that. So you could paint, you can paint over this paint if it's dry. If it's still wet, I wouldn't. Right. Your heart might be a bit patchy. You don't have to have perfect thick paint. It takes a while to get the paint to build up, so don't worry. Might take you about 10 minutes to paint the heart with your base coat. So it is red, orange and green to make a rusty brown. I've added a bit more orange in now, you can see. That is a nice base. Okay, time for a song.
Won't you dance with me, baby? Lady, don't go. Won't you dance with me? Lady, don't go. Won't you dance with me? Lady, don't go.
Okay, we're back and we're going to add the black to the top of the canvas. I'll just show you what happens in the real painting. So underneath, we've got the black, and then once that is dry, then we'll paint the flames on top of the black, okay? So we put the black in first. So probably about a teaspoon of black out of your little tube. I've just popped mine onto my palette paper here. So grab your black. The brush that you can use is the flat number 16 or the round, I think it's a number 12. Yeah, those two brushes are good to use for this. All right, so what we want to do is we want to come right down to the heart. Go right around the edge. So again, see how you can do this with this brush? I'll grab the other brush and show you as well. Let me grab the other one. So you want to be a little bit careful. This black paint is, and you don't want to have too much water. Right, so both brushes work. But yeah, a damp brush and quite a lot of paint is what you want. So you do want to get rid of all of this white canvas. If you get a bit nervous around the edge, use one of the littler brushes to come up close. If you sort of think, oh, I don't want to use a big brush, I'm scared. It's okay to be scared. Painting is just really about practice and really knowing when not to have too much water. I think that's the secret. Now you want to paint the top of your canvas black as well. Down that edge as well. Black. Doesn't matter if the shape that you've got isn't exactly the same as mine at the top, don't worry. There's lots of design and pattern work that goes on. Black on the side there. Across the top. A little bit of more paint. It's just nice if you do your edges, because when you hang it on the wall, it doesn't even really need to be framed. But of course, if you want to frame it, you can. Right, so once you've got your paint on, what you can do if you want to make it nice and smooth is just grab a little tiny drop of water and just come across like this. Make sure you haven't got any white showing. Don't worry about these edges too much. We're going to blend more colours over them. Right, we've got to think about what name we're going to put across the centre too. That's going to be fun. All right, so once we've done the black, I'll just play a song so that you can catch up to this step. We're going to add some more reds into the heart. Give this top bit time to dry, all right? So I'm going to add some more red to my palette and some orange and some yellow. For red, orange, and yellow. And you've really got to give your brush a good clean after you've done the black. Give it a good clean. I'm just going to do this next step so that you've got it ready to go. All right. So just put my finger in the black. Just be careful that you don't put your brush into your drink. And happy Valentine's Day. I hope you're having fun. Alrighty, so once you've done the black, we're going to add some more reds into the heart. So we've got red, pure red. You can have a little go with the pure red and just see what you think. Oh, that's nice. Pure red. If you add a little bit of orange to it, sort of brightens it up a bit. Makes it more of a coral. We've still got that beautiful rusty brown underneath it. It's giving it nice sort of depth. And then if you want to add a bit of yellow, straight onto your red. Didn't do too much, did it? There you go. See what you can get. So just have some fun with red, orange, and yellow. I'm putting this on quite thick. I've just got a damp brush. But you can add a little bit of water. I might add a wee bit of water. Because this is beautiful, heavy-bodied acrylic paint. And you can water it down or you can use it quite thick. We're going to end up coming around this heart with our black acrylic paint pens and doing a beautiful border that's nice and even. But if you haven't got the acrylic paint pens and you're painting this with your own art supplies, you could just use a little brush. It'll just take you a little bit longer to do things, that's all. But in our art kit, we've sent you the special paint pens. So you might look at it and think, oh, I like the way there's a bit more light there. I want a bit more light down here, perhaps. That's where you would just, while your paint's wet, just adding some pure yellow straight into my painting. And I'm liking that. So if you like something, you don't have to keep working it. You can stop and have that little flicker. Then you might want to add a bit more red. Make it sort of deeper. Maybe up there. And Remember, we're going to put a scroll through the middle of the heart as well. I might add a bit more light on that side too. I quite like it. A little bit of water to blend it. Oh, that's nice. And the other trick that you can use to lighten things, of course, is to add a little bit of white. But what it will do is make the red go a little bit pinky. But let's just see what that does. So a little bit of white, just say here. See how you can add some little highlights. So if you do something like, I'm thinking that's way too light. I'm liking it. I'm blending a little bit as I go. Because my paint's still wet underneath, you can see how I can blend those colours together. Oh, it's looking nice. So you want a little bit of interest. You don't just want it to be a flat red. Okay, so red, orange, yellow, and a little bit of white. If you go too heavy with the white and you feel nervous, just come back and add some more red or orange over the top. Okay, time for a song. And I might go clean my paint water too. See? When it gets to this colour, it's time to change the water. All right, so I'll show you what we've done so far and maybe take a photo of your progress, because it's always interesting to look back and see what you've done, how you did it. So it's looking pretty rough and ready, but painting is a process. Just trust me that in the end, you're going to have a beautiful painting just like that. Okay? Time for a song. Hi, we're back. We're back. Now, make sure that your black paint is dry. It needs to be really dry because we're going to do the flames on top. Okay? Your red paint might still be wet, but that's okay. We're not going to touch that. We're just going to work up here for the minute. Alrighty, let me pull that back. So this time you can use your little brush. Make sure you've got clean water. Right. I'll show you the brushes that you can use. These two, okay? Number 6, number 12, one of those will work. So make sure it's clean, and then we're going to jump into the white paint and do a little bit of drawing. So if we have a look at this painting, we can see that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flames that lick around the top of the heart, okay? Right, let's work out where we're going to start. I think we might start in the middle. So I'm going to do a little mark here and a little mark here. That's the size of that middle flame. And then there's one next to it. A little line there. Another line there. These are just guidelines. So we've got the big one, and then just next to it, just leave a little gap. And then we've got another one here. That might go right over here. Okay. We'll start with those. So this one, I just want you to feel sort of confident about drawing a line up like that and a little curve. And then we can bring that back and down to that line. See how we've connected it? All right. This is just rough. We'll come back and tidy up in a minute. So the next one sort of bends, it goes up like that. Bring it down to that line. Okay, got two. And then the third one. So then we can colour these in white. Make sure your black paint's dry, otherwise you'll end up with grey. It really wouldn't matter if you did have and it was grey, because we're going to put colours over the top, but ideally your black paint is dry underneath. We just want to have this as a nice bright base so that we can put colours over the top. We're basically blocking out the black. It's just easier to put the black on and then paint over the top of it. Otherwise, it's hard getting around the shapes, I find. Okay. You can still hear that music. Let me just turn it down. Just realised I'm looking like a wreck. Got my dad's shirt on. It's favourite flannelette shirt. Great for painting in. Done lots of paintings in this shirt. Thanks, Dad. Right, music off. Okay, so we've got 3 flames in so far. So let's do the others. So if you do a little mark just next to that one, probably about here, and then there's another gap, probably here, and then there's one that goes right off the edge. So, first one, just get that. You don't want straight lines, okay? So this one, we're going to come up and then around. Oops. And join it back up again. Color it in. And then the next one. You can start from where you want your hook to be as well. So that might be another way to do it. So this one, that sort of shape. And then we've got the final one. We're going to use black outliner around the edges of this too, so that will help tidy this up. But we just want a little coat of white paint so that when we put the bright colours over the top, they'll really pop out of that black. All right, so time for a song. And then we're going to do a bit more work in the black. We're going to add all these little these little blue dots. Okay. So let me put a song on.
That you've heard has turned your spirit to a dove. Oh, ooh, your spirit up above. Oh, ooh. I was choking in the crowd, building my rain up in the cloud, falling like ashes to the ground, hoping my feelings they would drown, but they never did. Ever lived, ebbing and flowing, inhibited, limited, till it broke up when it rained down. It rained down like. You turn me up, believer, believer. You put me up, believer, believer. Let the waters fall, let them rain. My life, my love, my God, it came from. You turn me up, believer, believer. Last days last by the grace of the fire and the flames. You're the face of the future, the blood in my veins. Oh, ooh, the blood in my veins. Oh, ooh. But they never did, ever did, ebbing and flowing, inhibited, limited, till it broke up when it rained down. It rained down like. You turn me up, believer, believer.
So at home, you might have decided not to worry about doing the dots.
I love
Up
it
to
when you
yours.
call me señorita.
Thank you. You might have decided at home you don't want to do the dots, but if you have decided that you'd like to do them, this is the time. So again, using either the number 6 or the number 12 brush, we're going to use some white paint and some of that dark blue that we had in the beginning. Should still be wet on your palette. So I'm going to mix a light blue, so a little bit of blue and some white. So I've got like a beautiful sky blue, I suppose. Okay, we're just going to do some little dabs. You could use the cotton bud as well. That's the other thing that you could use. So we've just got, just to make this a bit more interesting, I'm just doing some little blue shapes. You want them different sizes, so you can have some small, bigger. We're going to come back and add some more white paint to some of them. You want them in different directions. Don't want them all going the same way. A bit more paint. These ones up the top, you can do like half moon shapes. So they're sort of going off the canvas. Might have a couple of those. So just sort of like little leaf shapes almost. Remember, different sizes. Quite a big one. A little one. I'm going to put a bit of blue on this over the black, just in this corner. So we're going to do some black lines over the top, and black on black doesn't work. Just blend that over the black. Go over the edge of your painting as well. Right, now I'm going to add a bit more white to that blue. I'll show you, you can probably hardly see them. So we need more white so that they'll pop out, but I wanted you to start with the blue, and we'll add more layers of colour. So a bit more white into your mix. So you've got a paler blue. Now you'll be able to see these dots. You want to have some different blues. Maybe a bit more white. Even a lighter blue. Right, I'm going to add a bit more blue and white. We've got different shades. Lighter, darker over here. But you do need to give it another coat just so that you can see it. Otherwise, if you just put one coat of blue over the black, you won't see it at all. How's that? Looking good. Okay, remember to put that little bit of blue in the corner over here. Put that on. What you can do, this is a little trick. Put your blue paint on like that, and then grab your cloth and just give it a little wipe. What it does, gives you a nice sort of misty finish. That. Okay. So we've got our blue dots, we've got our white for our flames. Our red paint is still a bit wet, so we'll leave the red for a bit longer, and we're going to do some work on the flames. So if you've got metallic gold paint, if you have the art kit, we would have sent that to you. Oops, just find it in a little container like this, metallic gold. So we're going to give the flames a coat of metallic gold. You can even add a little bit of orange into it if you want to make it more of a coppery gold. And this would be a good brush, and so would this little flat number 10. So the two of you can use these brushes. Right. So I'm gonna use this little flat number 10 to show you how to use it. Pop it into your water, dab it off, jump into your gold paint. Got a lot on the lid here. And we're gonna give these a coat of gold. You can see that white paint. If we tried to do this gold over the black, we wouldn't have been able to see anything at all. So that's why we started with the white. So we're just going to give this a coat of gold, and then we're going to come back with orange and yellows and make them look like flames. You put it on quite thick. This will probably take us a little bit of time, maybe 10 minutes. I'll put some more music on. Might do that now.
But every touch is ooh la la la. It's true la la la. Oh, I should be running. Oh, you keep me coming for you. Like in Miami, the air was hot from summer rays were dripping off me before I even know her name. La la la.
If you haven't got metallic gold, you could use yellow.
Ooh la la la, yeah, no. Sapphire moonlight, we dance for hours in the sand, tequila sunrise. Her body fit right in my hands, la la la. It felt like ooh la la la, yeah. I love it when you call me señorita. I wish I could pretend I didn't need you, but every touch is ooh la la la. It's true la la la. Ooh, I should be running. Ooh, you know I love it when you call me señorita. I wish it wasn't so damn hard to leave ya, but every touch is ooh la la la. It's true la la la. Ooh, I should be running. Ooh, you keep me coming for you. In the hotel, there's just some things that never change. You say we're just friends, but friends don't know the way you taste. La la la. Cause you know it's been a long time coming that you let me fall. Oh, when your lips undress me, hooked on your tongue. Oh, now your kisses steady don't stop. I love it when you call me señorita. I wish I could pretend I didn't need you, but every touch is so la la la. It's true la la la. Ooh, I should be running. Ooh, you know I love it when you call me señorita. I wish it wasn't so damn hard to leave ya, but every touch is ooh la la la. It's true la la la. Ooh, I should be running. Ooh, you keep me coming for you. All along I've been coming for you, and I hope it meant something to you.
Okay, so let that dry. Clean little brush. Still looking very rough, but we've got good background work here. Right, I'll play another couple of songs, let you catch up, and then we're going to put the scroll in, the heart. Got to make sure this paint's dry.
5 de la mañana tú me llamas, solo para ver quién está en mi cama. Yo no tengo tiempo para tu drama. A mí no me llame a las 5 de la mañana, porque de seguro ando de rumba con mi hermana. Tú quieres llamarme solo cuando tienes ganas. Yo quiero bailar esta noche, voy a disfrutar sin reproches. Te pones celoso si me ves con otro. Hago lo que quiero, yo solo me la gozo. Te pones celoso si bailo con otro. Yo no sé de ellos, y tú ya tampoco. Sé que me celas.
You can pause the video if you like. Welcome back. So now we're going to put the scroll across the heart. Okay, so we're going to use the little brush or the number 12. I'm going to use some white paint. So pop your brush into your water, just dampen the bristles, and then into your white paint. Just going to do some little dots to show you where the scroll goes. So if you're looking at it, you can see that the scroll, there's a little bit of distance between the middle of the heart, and then that's sort of how wide we want it to be. So we're going to put some dots in here. We're going to put a dot there, one here, 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 and here. Okay. So first off, let's just get the top of it right. So come down about 1 centimetre and do a dot just there. And then we're going to come up and do one here. And then the width of it, probably about 3 centimetres down. And then we're going to do one here, over here, one here. So we've got a couple of dots to follow. Maybe one there. Okay, so now with some white paint. My red paint's dry. If yours isn't dry, maybe get your hair dryer and give it a bit of a shh. So now, just take your time. We're going to join the dots. There we go. All right, now if you've got metallic gold paint, we'll pop the metallic gold in. I'm just wondering if we should give it a coat of white. Yeah, let's give it a coat of white. So you can upgrade the size of your brush. You can go to the flat brushes, the number 16 or the number 10. Those two, okay? So we're going to just give this a little coat of white. And if you haven't got metallic gold, you could do a beautiful sort of lemony colour with yellow and white. But this is, we're just putting this down as a base. We'll put the gold over the top. So then we're going to add the gold over the top. And if, like I said, if you haven't got gold, metallic gold, you could use a yellow now. My white is still wet, but I'm quite liking the effect. It's quite nice. But if you wanted it to be really gold, you'd wait for your white to dry. Put it on quite thick. It's a bit of a curve that just happens there. And remember, we're going to come around with our black pens and tidy up the outline. But if you use your bristles and flatten them like that, you can see you get quite a nice line. All right, we've got the scrolling. Fantastic. Not going to give these another little. Just cleaning my brush really on the top here. So now we're going to add some orange and red into the flames. So I've got some, I'm going to put a bit more orange out on my palette, this little tube. And I've still got some red. So you can change your brush, the number 10 or this number 12 would be good. Dampen your bristles, grab some orange. We're not going to cover up all the gold. Just put a little bit of orange because it's flames. A little bit of red while the orange is still wet. If you put too much red in, go back, grab some orange. See that red makes the orange a bit deeper. Keep going. Like I said, you don't really want to cover up all your gold. It's nice to have like a bit of a metallic gold edge. A little bit of red. I like putting the red over the top of the orange. That's red down first. Sometimes it's good to change your technique, do, one a little bit different. And then you can add the orange over the top of that red. Just have some fun. And we can add some pure yellow as well, lemon. Add some lemon as well, just to give it a bit more flame activity. I haven't cleaned my brush and I've just grabbed some lemon and my paint is still wet. Just going to put a little bit in there. You're still blending. You might want to bring your orange right down to the edge of your heart. Pick up that metallic gold just on the edge. A bit more lemon. We end up doing little black scrolls over the top, but it's nice to have some different colours happening. I like the lemon over the top. It does really make it work like a flame. We can come back and add more metallic gold too if we wanted to, right? But I'm pretty happy with what I've got here. I've got a little bit of metallic gold on the edge. But if I wanted to, right now, I could grab a little bit more metallic gold on my little brush and just come in and give just a hint here and there. Especially if you've got a little bit of white showing. Okay, that's looking good. We've got to work out what we're going to put on the scroll. I ran a competition, so I've got a winner's name. I might paint that. Alrighty. So let me show you up close. Are we happy with the shape of our scroll? Yeah, it's not too bad. Okay, so we've got our flames, red, orange, and lemon, and we've still got our little gold tips. And we've brought the colour right down to the edge of the heart. Okay? Let that dry. Play a song. You could pause the video at this point if you like and finish this section. Okay, we're back. And we're going to start doing some work with our beautiful little acrylic black paint pens, okay? If you haven't got a black paint pen, you can use a little brush and some black paint. I'll show you how to do that too, just in case you haven't got these wonderful pens. They do make life easy. It is acrylic paint just like we've been using, but it's got a fine tip and a thicker tip. We're going to use the thicker tip. So to get your paint pen started, give it a good shake. And then you need a piece of paper to press down on to get the ink to flow. I'll show you what I mean. So you just go like this and you'll see black paint starts coming out of the tip and it'll colour the tip right in black. Okay. So I'm just going to do a little bit of a practice. I need to do a black edge around the heart. This paint's still a little bit wet, so I'm just going to concentrate on this bottom half of painting to start with. So don't be nervous. You can see it's just like a texture. So we're going to go around the edge of the heart, just up to here. Right, so now I'm going to colour in a little strip. Just to make it look a bit tidier. This gives you an opportunity to tidy up, cover up any white canvas that you've got. And you could change the shape of your heart too. If you wanted to make it a wee bit bigger, you could. If you're not happy with the size. So it literally is, you can work flat. So I'm working on an easel, but you could work flat with this. Right. That's how easy it is. If you were using a little brush, grab your smallest brush, dab, and then wipe it off with a cloth so you've got a nice little point. Jump into your black paint. Right. It's easy. It is still easy to do. It's just more time consuming. So what we're going to do on this side is just practice. I'll just show you. So I'm just going to run. You might have to keep going back and getting more black paint, I think. Little bit of water. Just a little bit. Test it on your palette. Make sure it's not too runny. You can see that that fills it in nice and easy. Yeah. So you can use a little brush too if you want. If you haven't got the pens. The pens just make life easy. All right, so we're going to run a line that it runs parallel to this. So I'm just going to approach it. Just like that. You might want to make it a little bit thicker. And then we're just going to do some little curves. I might hold this up close to camera so you can see what I'm doing. So all you need to do is come from this edge and do a little curve like that. And then we've got a little curl that comes off the tip. Okay. Might need another one like that. Just do a couple down the side. Go back and make sure that they're thick enough. We've got the edge done. All right, so I'm going to do some more swirls on this green side to start with. So if you come from here, just do like a curvy shape. That's probably about as thick as you want it. And then we're going to do another one like that. And then this one, just do a little curl in there like that. Okay, we're starting our swirls. This is the fun part. So now I'm going to do one that goes like an upside down 9. And you can make that curlier if you like. And then we've got another one that comes off. Around here. So you can just use the width of this, or you can go back over it, make it thicker if you like. See how you go. You might just like doing it just with one stroke, but you can make it thicker. All right, so from there we've got another one that drops down. Like that. So really the design's up to you. All we're doing is little swirls. And this might have like a little kink. I'll show you I've done second off. So let's make this into some lines down here. 2. Make sure you go right to the edge of your canvas. And this one, I want to sort of I'm using where the colour is, where it meets, to create like a black line that breaks the colours. Just do a swirl in there a little bit. All right, so we've got that green done. Let's keep going. This one that goes right up to the heart. Just mirror that one. And then inside, we'll just do another. Right, so over here, come up a little bit and just take your time. Yeah, you can pause the video if you need to. Might be easier working flat at home. Okay. See how I've made that look like it sort of goes beyond the canvas. So you have one that bleeds off and then it's really just about creating nice swirls that interconnect. So I think we might have another one like that. Does that. That might be enough, just there. Now, a bit more up here. This paint is dry. Great. Okay, we can keep going. So, I think what we'll do now is, because we don't, that paint can still be smudged. Remember, it's still paint, so it still needs to dry. You can come back and tidy up if you need to. But you want to keep your paint, try to keep your lines quite sort of fluid and straight. So now, back up to the top of the heart. Doing our black border. Just follow that line that you originally had for your heart. You want this to be quite thick, this outline. Okay. Alrighty, so now we want to do some swirls inside the heart as well. Oh, it looks like an M. And then over here, we're going to do a couple of lines and then a swirl. We now need to outline the scroll. Make sure you, I've just noticed a little bit of my gold still a bit wet. What will happen is you'll block up your black ink. So make sure your gold paint is dry. So have you worked out who you're going to give your painting to Valentine's Day? I bet they'll love it. You need to do an edge down here. I'm going to thicken this little top part of the heart up just a wee bit. Underneath. Precision work here. Just take your time. You get a good result. All right. So we've got to add a little bit more of a black outline. I think that's right. We're going to do some more. Yeah, so let's go over here and we'll finish our design. So right near the edge of the scroll, I want you to do a curve like that. And then just mirror that. And then up here. If you paint, my paint pen's starting to probably not liking. I think if you work flat, you'd be better off. It doesn't like gravity, I don't think. So to reactivate it, you need to tap your pen. Yeah, that's good. I've got a bit of white there. I'll have to fix that up. We'll have time to do the final touches. that's just got 4 little strokes. We can put some different colours in there, and we'll put some different colours in here as well. Okay, over here, let's do a little bit more. So I'm going to add like a little fringe to this side here. So first of all, I'm going to do a little curve that connects to that line, and then one above it. And then I've got, oops, another line, it bleeds off. And then one that actually goes from the top here, comes around and down. And it sits there. Time to also do an outline round your flames. You see, I'm just going right around the edge of the drawing, of the outline of the flame. I might have to add some colour in there because I don't know if I like that being so light. So I might add some more orange when I'm doing my final fix-ups. You can tidy up the shape too because you've got that black background. So if you want to tidy up what they, what they actually look like, you can sort of almost redraw them a little bit. All right, I think I've got that in black. Fantastic. You could even go around your shapes if you want to tidy them up too. Up to you. I'm quite happy with mine. But if you wanted to, you could, with the pen, go around the shapes. So you can, make them smaller if you wanted. But that is looking good. I feel like I need some more here. So I'm just going to add This looks like it needs something too. If you've got any spots where you just need to do something, that's not a bad way of doing it. Sort of shape like that. Fantastic. Alrighty, so now we're going to add the scrolls into the flames. All right. Make sure your paint's dry. I'm starting at the top and I'm going round and out and down. If we come back and give it more of a tail. This time I think maybe just the one thickness. You don't want these to be too thick. So this one, I'm going to go up. This one. C shape right down. And come back and do more tails. Oops. This one might have another little bit of action. Ooh. You don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. You just, add a swirl here and there. I think we'll leave this one without anything. How's that looking? Right, I'm going to add, I'm supposed to do my fringe there. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Looks fine like that. Right, I'm going to add some more colours, just here and there. All right, so I think I'm going to add maybe some green into here, maybe some pink, just here. So let's get some red. We'll do the pink first. Some red and some white, just a little bit of white, so to make it a little pinky colour, using the number 12 brush. I'm just going to add a little bit of pink just in here. I'm just going in between my black lines. That looks nice. And I'll do the same over here. I'm going to add a little bit of pink in here too, on that line. So red and white going in between. I'm using the tip of the brush. Just want to be careful because you don't really, you can go back over with your black pen if you go over your black lines. But if you're careful, you'll be able to do this. I'm just going to touch up. I've got a couple of little white marks. You can use a bit of pink in your heart as well if you want to. Use your finger just to give it a little bit of interest. Drop it over the top like that. This is just red and white, a little bit of pink over the top of your red, and then smudge it in with your finger. You'll see it just gives it a bit more lift. Okay, I don't know if I like that just there, so I might bring the black right down, I think. And that looks good. I might need to go back over that with my black just to tidy up. So now some black. See how I've got this little edge up here and it's a bit rough? I'm just going to fill that in there with some black. So if you've got a little space like that, you can do the same. You can use your pen or you can use your black paint. I've still got a little bit of black paint on my palette. Just dabbing. Tiny bit of water. Okay, no, it's looking good. We're getting ready to put the final touch of the name on, I think. Yeah, so I'm just having a look to see if I like everything. It's not looking too bad. Time for a top up of the drinks. Make sure you get up and step back from your painting and have a look to see if you're happy with everything. All right, so that's what we look like so far. You could pause the video and have a drink. Okay, we're back. We're going to do our name. Now, it could be your sweetheart name that you call each other. It might be Babe. It might be their name. It might be Pete. Might be Natalie. Might be Greg. Or it might just be Amor. But you might just want the word love, or you might want love, L-O-V-E. The way that I do these letters is I literally just do the letter and put a curl on the edge. So I'm going to use my black pen. I'm going to do the word amour again, because I think a lot of people will like that. So, all right, here we go. So you could use a pencil first if you're a bit nervous, and pencil in the letters. So you can see with the A, I've just done a curl on the edge there. And then I'm just going to do a straight line. A. M, I'm going to do it. So you can do a combination of uppercase and lowercase as well. So with the M, I'm going to make it look more like a lowercase m. So I'm coming down. You probably want the bottom of your letters to be in line. All right, so you wouldn't want this to come right down. So imagine we've got a line that runs along the bottom here. So then I'm just going to go up. Like that. And then I've got the O. I'm going to connect the O to that M. I'm going to come back and thicken this up in a minute. And then inside the O, you might want to do a little swirly whirly. That. And then the R, make sure you've got enough space between your letters. So I'm just going to come over here, and I'm still thinking about that being in line. I know the O goes down a bit lower, but that's all right. And then I'm going to do my R, pretty standard, straightforward R, and then I'm going to give the tail a curl. Right. Amour. I'm now going to just thicken things up a bit, make it a bit even. So, you can just go back over things and you'll just get a slightly thicker. Just be careful. If for some reason you had a complete disaster and you really think, oh no, I loved my painting, then I put the name on it and my dog's just walking. Chevy, I'll be ready soon. Yeah, if you had a complete disaster with this, what you can do is wait for this black paint to dry and then put another coat of gold over the top, or another coat of white and then another coat of gold. And that will cover up anything that you've done. And you can have another go. Because you do need to be a little bit careful, I think, with the lettering. I'm probably making it look easy. So I have painted this painting a couple of times. So it's a lot easier for me. Just going over the edges that look a bit sketchy. And if you want to give your gold a sort of aged look, I'll show you how to do that with black as well. because this looks very clean. If you want it to look a little bit more interesting, I'll show you how to use a little bit of black. So using your pen, just going to give that a little scribble like that, and then get my finger and sort of mist it in so it's a little bit more interesting. And the same over here. Just a couple of little touches of black, not much, and your finger. You might want to do that a little bit. Just gives it that extra 3D effect as well. You can even do it on your heart as well. So if you wanted to, I'll show you. Just a couple of little lines down the edge like that. Finger. Smudging a little bit of dark. You might want to do it up the top there a little bit. That door is annoying. Yeah, my faithful pooch is waiting for me. You might want to add a little bit down here. So just a little couple of lines and then smudge it in. You'll see it instantly gives you. If you do too much, you know you can come back with some red. That looks great. Oh, I've got those little white bits up there I want to fix. So now's time to look at your painting and make sure you're happy with everything. And like I said, I've just noticed a little area that I'll show you what I mean. Just up here, I've got a little bit too much white. I don't like it, so I'm going to add a little bit more orange into that. Little brush. Just come back and all right. Looking good. I hope you've enjoyed the class. I hope you've had fun. I hope your Valentine adores this present. If it was the two of you painting together, or if you're painting it as a surprise for Tuesday. We are running the class again on Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. we start on Valentine's night. So if you want to join in again, I'll see you then. Changing the shape of my flame just a tiny touch. Oh, I know what we've got to do. We've got to sign our painting. So using your black acrylic paint pen, you can do your initial or your name and the date. So I'm going to do my initial. My name is Nikki Carter, so I'm going to do an N and a C down the bottom here. Bottom right-hand corner's okay, or the bottom left. So I'm going to go in. See. And then 20. Especially if it's your first painting. You want to make sure that you know when you did it. And then, of course, you could write a special message on the back. Now, these little things, these little blocks, we need to put those into the back of the painting. You might need a little hammer to bang them in. What they do is they keep your painting, they keep the canvas nice and taut. So in the back, there's these little, see if I can do one for you. Does it go that way? No, I'm not going to do it on camera. But yeah, there's little slots in the back and you push them through and then give them a little hammer. So there's 2 edges that go on each corner. So make sure you do that. I've got to paint down the edge here as well. So I might do that in the green. You see this side I've got it done, and the top I've got black. Underneath I haven't done either. So you can do that too to finish off your painting. And please, please, please send me a photo so that we can see what you've done. I hope you've had a fantastic Valentine's date with lots of romance and lots of fun, because really and truly it is so lovely to get a present given to you that's been made by someone else. It's just the ultimate present. So I hope you've had a great time, and we'll see you real soon at the Senorita's Art Workshop. Bye for now.